Hello, my name is Ben Ellsworth, and I'm going to do some snacking and yakking with Big Ben Kennedy.
Ben Ellsworth, another Ben in the house, a Ben and Ben, together, well, not again, this is the first time I've met him, but we're together here and now. One day you'll come back on, we'll be together again, and that's going to totally be a better intro. But for right now, I, Ben, am with Ben Ellsworth, a chef here in Charleston, South Carolina, and also he's got some other stuff going on. I want to talk about the little website or little app thing you started or whatever. We got some good stuff. He's got stories for days, and I'll also tell you how we met was through another guest who was on here that you'll know. But first, please follow, subscribe, comment, and share. If you do, I will rub your feet, and not in like a seductive way, just straight up help you feel nice. So Ben, I was recommended to reach out to you. Actually, he recommended you to reach out to me, but I thought he was talking to me. So I reached out to you. John Stout, Bad John, from He Rode the Dream, and also a photographer who used to take pictures for us at the Low Country High Rollers. I used to be their announcer. And he said, you need to go on this. No, you need to get on this. And I thought he was telling me to get on you, but then he was telling you. I said, well, hey, man, you want to come on my show? You were like, yeah. So easy when they say yes. So easy when they say yes. So explain to me, like just for starters, so a chef for how long? Just out of curiosity.
22 years.
22 years. So, and it's been in the Charleston area. You started here, or did you start somewhere else?
Prior to that, I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
Gotcha.
And I was working, my first cook job ever was a fry cook at a comedy theater.
That hits close to home because I'm a comedian, so that works. Nice. Yeah. You know, I used to live for the fries at the Improv in Baltimore because that was like part of your pay. You got a free meal and then like just piddly like MC pay.
Yeah.
I remember one time somebody, I think it was Ari Shafir, ate my fries. I was pissed. And nobody could understand why. It's like, you ate half my pay. You know, I came here for the fries. No, but Ari's cool. Anyway, so yes, so a comedy theater. That's pretty cool. And then, so would it be a chef there? Or are you like, or is it more just like a cook?
I was actually probably more of a drug dealer.
Let's get into this story, Ben.
A buddy of mine was a server there. I didn't have a lot going on, but I had just moved out, and I was doing my first attempt at college.
Okay.
I had a little 1-bedroom apartment. My first rent was like $250 a month. And
so what were you going to go to college for? Like, what was your original plan?
I had a really good teacher in 12th grade, literature teacher that got me into a lot of books like Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test.
Yes.
William Burroughs, Charles Bukowski, and
what is it, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance? Are we dating ourselves? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
47.
I am exactly 47. Yeah. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you're naming books that I totally remember, so that's pretty cool.
So I was so like, I don't know, into those books that I was like, maybe I'll go into literature of some kind, have an impact on a, lost kid like this teacher had with me.
Wow.
And found out that she was issuing me those books on the side.
Okay, so
and that I would never be able to teach these books.
Okay.
So there was an actual curriculum, but I lost interest pretty quickly after that.
where they're making you do Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, every senior year, every junior year?
Yeah.
Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, and it's just I'm sorry, terrible freaking book. That is just boring. I never liked it, and I know that's unpopular. Somebody holds it up, but that was one I definitely could have skipped.
Yeah, if I read it, I don't remember it. But
it's not the best.
I didn't remember much of high school except for kind of this literature impact that this teacher had.
But it's cool that it got through to you, because I mean, I assume, I don't want to assume, but you come from the same generation as I. The Oregon Trail generation. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just at
Rebecca
the tail
died
end.
from dysentery.
That's right. We're at the tail end of Gen X, but we're not quite in the millennial. Some try to say Zennial, some try to say the Oregon Trail generation, but we are an interesting breed of people who can remember the way it was and jumped on the way that it is in the very beginning. We have this very weird part where, like, we know technology because we were on it first, but we also remember when it didn't exist.
Yeah.
In a like formative years, like in teenage years.
Yeah.
We were like, oh yeah, you had to, if you were bored, you just had to deal with it.
I think it gives us kind of a superpower.
I feel like too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna totally do that. I'm totally agree with you. I feel like that too.
Yeah.
But so I was gonna say was, knowing my generation, knowing all of us, I assumed the drugs weren't a discovery in a comedy theater. You kind of dabbled in that in high school and stuff.
Oh yeah, I was definitely going in immediately with the drugs.
Right. And I mean, most of my friends, myself, I was, I didn't really get into anything heavy or hard, but definitely my senior year, my life took a weird turn, and alcohol and things like that, and cigarette smoking like a chain smoker, and it definitely changed. But all I did was just jump into the river that everybody else was in. I mean, I watched all my friends, and they were just like, "You smoke now?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Come over here." "You drink now?" "Yep." "Come on over here." So it was like right into it. So you were just kind of twisting in the wind, and this one teacher made an impact. Now, I know you've written a book.
Blogs.
You've written blogs.
Yeah, so I do a lot of Substack writing.
Got you. Yeah. So I know, because I saw you with the book. So the photo of you with the books, is that symbolizing what? Because I thought it was a photo of you with like books.
Oh, those books. So that was a photo shoot that I did for a possible documentary that I'm working on.
Okay.
So that was a stack of cookbooks, because the documentary is going to be kind of geared towards the hospitality industry.
Got you. Okay, so then coming over to here, how long? When did you settle into Charleston?
1998.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I've
So
been
only
here
a couple
longer.
years after high school.
Yeah, been here longer than anywhere. Some would say I'm still not from here, but I've had I've had 2 kids here, so I feel like I'm a native.
Well, I'll tell you, that's this branding on this show changed very recently to made in Charleston, powered by creatives, fueled by snacks, and the whole thing about it was I like you, I'm not from here, but I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, so it isn't even like I'm Southern adjacent. I am from a totally different world.
Yeah.
But as I came down here, and I'm meeting very interesting people, very lovely people sitting in this chair right here. Some of them, I mean, a great majority of them aren't from here, not born here. And a great majority of them are really excited to be in Charleston. And I'm sitting here going, I've been here for 18 years. I've raised 2 kids. One was born there, but we've lived here since he was 2. And the other one, she was born here. And I'm sitting here thinking, my wife's a native to here. I've dedicated my life to helping the people in this town as a paramedic, and stuff. And I'm sitting here going, well, why can't I kind of be like, hey, I'm Charleston too. And as soon as I did that, nobody disagreed with it. Yeah. Nobody's been a dick. Nobody's called me out. They're like, well, yeah. Because I can tell you what your brick and mortar was before it was your brick and mortar. And before it was that one, I know pretty much what every building here was 2 buildings ago. And it's like, I think you could take some ownership. This is you too, because you're 10 years, been here 10 years longer than I have. I moved here in 2008. I think you could take some ownership over Charleston. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
you have my permission. If anybody gives you shit, you have my
it doesn't
permission.
bother me much. You are what you say you are.
That's right. So you got into the culinary immediately, or did you find something else until you got into it here in Charleston?
Well, I moved here to go to Johnson & Wales.
Okay. So definitely.
I was, my last hurrah in Augusta was coming home from work with 5 cops in the driveway. And the last thing I was told was, hey, you need to get the hell out of Richmond County. And so I called my mom and I was like, I think I want to move. And she was like, what do you want to do? And the only thing legitimate that I had in my life going on that was legal was my cooking job. So I was like, I think I want to be a cook. And she called me up a few days later and was like, there's a culinary school in Charleston called Johnson & Wales. You can get a degree and do this for a career. And the only thing that I knew about cooking or the hospitality industry was that it was a huge party, and I was like, man,
That's what I was going to say before you said it. You got it.
If you can build a career on a party, then I'm all in. And so I moved here. And strangely enough, like, I didn't have anything on my resume, but, fry cook, stocks and sauces, American regional cuisine, any classes I was taking. It took me like 8 months to get my first job.
Oh, wow. Okay. 8 months from finishing your degree?
From the time I moved to Charleston.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be very different now. If I walked in with a heartbeat, I would.
Yeah. And that
get hired.
service industry in general. By the way, let's talk about your snack really quick. You chose San Pellegrino, is it Aranciata? Aranciata. That's just fancy Italian for orange. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you got an orange drink, which I've not had, but I'm very excited. And also you chose M&Ms, which I do not knock. I've had one other person choose M&Ms. So how does candy work as a snack? I'm like, please, I could snack on candy forever.
Yeah.
But you sat here while we were setting up and you picked out blue ones. Is there a reason why?
They added them a while back. There's got to be something special about them.
I believe they were the millennial. I think they were the year 2000.
Yeah.
You're supposed to vote on them. And I think royal blue or whatever, blue ribbon blue, whatever they call it. I'm thinking Crayola crayons, I think, was the big color. So it might be something special. I thought you were going for like a Matrix thing. Like, let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
They all taste the same to me. So I think
Yeah.
you eat with your eyes first.
I'm telling you, though, it was funny because I was like, hey, I have some plates. I was like, if you want to, you don't want to bother like pawing up the same bag together. And you were like, well, we can color code it. And I laughed you off. I was like, haha. And then all of a sudden you just, like, oh, you're really digging out all the blues. You're like, yeah. So,
And
same.
chocolate and orange go together.
I do not
Magic.
disagree with that. Yeah. Absolutely. I do not disagree with that. Chocolate orange. Is it, Kinder?
Yeah.
Or the one where you smack the thing and oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then those Christmas ones where, you got the little slices. My wife is diehard for those.
Wow. That is really good.
Yeah, it is.
It is reminiscent of orange soda, but you can tell it's lighter and it's not so heavy on the sugar.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It doesn't coat your tongue like high fructose corn syrup. It just tastes like a nice orange drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you, I don't know if you're a recovering alcoholic too, but I bet you it goes really good with some, I bet you a screwdriver with that would knock your socks off.
Oh, I'm sure a screwdriver with anything would
Well,
knock your socks off. Or mine anyway. It'd probably burn a couple buildings.
How many years have you been clean and sober?
June 16th was 9 years.
That is the day I started this.
Yeah.
June 16th was the first episode. First 3. I put 3 out the very first day, Monday, June 16th. That's wild, man.
Yeah. There you go.
There's a connection with us, Ben. Ben and Ben.
Yeah.
616.
Otter God, man.
Man, I like it. I like it a lot. So clean and sober that long, and did you notice a difference in your career or in what you were doing when you kind of stepped away from the party side of things?
Well, I wasn't. The end of my drinking was not a party anymore.
Gotcha.
I mean, it was more isolated, alone. But did things change, like with the job? Not right off the rip, except, I was running a restaurant when I got sober.
Okay.
I was told, like, hey, if you don't make time for recovery, you're not going to recover. And I was working, 60 to 80 hours a week minimum, which doesn't leave a lot of time for anything.
Right.
And so I knew the person that was suggesting this to me was right. And I couldn't really take like the hours, the stress. I mean, my numbing agent's gone. I'm losing my shit over everything. And, so basically I was like, what do I do? And he was like, take a job in the morning, make time for recovery in the evening, lowest amount of responsibility. And I was like, AM prep cook. And I'm not going to, I'm making $60,000 a year. I got child support. I got this, that, and the other, but called
How many
up.
kiddos do you have?
I got 2 kids that are mine, and then I just got married in October, and I got a third. So
Congrats.
yeah,
Congrats. Did it I mean, it's the greatest thing I'll ever do. It took the pressure off of everything else in my life. Like, I wanted to be famous, and then I became a dad, and I was like, I don't give a shit if I ever become famous. Like, as long as I can put a good person out in the world, she was a surprise. I mean, I hope she turns out to be a good person. But anyway, as long as I can put a couple good people out into the world, man, I feel like I did something great.
Yeah.
Everything else is just icing, man. If I can get something going on for me, that's cool. But if this just becomes nothing more than a hobby, as long as they're doing okay. My son's about to get his bachelor's degree at the age of 20 in May. You know, it's just like, dude, you just support your kids, man. Just realize that they'll go as far as they can go, but they'll do it even better if you're just supportive the whole entire time. Because we were Gen Xers, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's 8 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Like, our
Last
parents,
feral.
we were the last feral generation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, another, like, if a personal goal is to be famous, like, best solution to that, easiest one is to have kids. I mean, you know, kids, you're a rock star.
Oh, that's true too. That's true too, right?
Yeah.
I have said that.
Yeah.
I've said that, I mean, at least they'll get to watch this.
Yeah.
You know, this will always exist.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, remember when Dad did that crazy bullshit? It's weird that he died in that bus accident, you know, where he, for some reason, wanted to stand on top of the bus. It's got to be something stupid. I'm not going to die by any conventional thing, I think. It's going to be something like, why would he do that? I don't know. He just was an idiot. No, but how old are they, if you don't mind me asking?
My son's 20. My daughter is 14. My stepson is 8. So
Okay, so you got the spread.
they have nothing in common.
10 years apart from mine, and they are definitely different people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, though. I mean, that's good challenges. Also, you get a chance to, like, kind of make the mistakes with the older one and then do better with the second one.
Yeah.
You know, like, who is it? You familiar with comic Nate Bargatze?
No.
He goes, when the oldest kid is born, by the time the youngest comes around, your parents are billionaires. He's like, they didn't even grow up in the same house as you. Like you're like a second story. That's like a house on top of a house. He's like, when you're born, it's like your parents are poor. It's like, I don't even think I was supposed to be here yet. He's like, the youngest kid has a totally different existence than the first one.
Yeah,
I have to agree. I have to agree.
That's very true.
He's one of my favorite comics of now. You know, I met him. Well, not met him, but like got a chance to like shake his hand and all that stuff. He was pretty cool. You know, I saw him at the Coliseum when he came through. It was really cool. So how did you know Bad John?
We were always kind of like fishing around in the same circles, I think, because of the food scene, but never had, I don't know, talked or met. Not that I remember. I spent 3/4 of my life in a blackout. So, how did you is blurry sometimes. But when I was starting my company, GigPro, in the very beginning, we were starting to make like one-pagers and, doing canvassing and stuff. And we needed a headshot, and I didn't know what the hell that meant, and we had to make LinkedIn profiles and all this stuff. And, I was like, I need a photographer. And I think I just posted it on Facebook, and we synced up. And so like the first time, he tells me to bring 3 different outfits. We go out to the old naval base because it's, got all kinds of crazy dilapidated.
Yep, the industrial type look and all.
And so the first time I met him, he's like, why don't you change into another shirt? And so I'm changing clothes, I'm changing pants, but
he's got a vision.
I had seen his those stills that he did, the black and white stills, and
with the Charleston sign, and
it was just like the headshot of all these people, And
did you see his coverage of Shepherd Ferry?
Yeah,
painting the stuff downtown College of Charleston or whatever. But John's also been adjacent to like punk rock saves lives, punk rock flea market, all that stuff, right? He's always what's the toy drive? Presents from punks. He's always been adjacent to that. He did the pictures for the Low Country High Rollers, so he always rides that outer edge to, if you tat it up, if you're, things like that. Like he's not gonna. I don't think he takes a lot of headshots of people who are like buttoned down like, this is my dental office. And he's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is where I, knock people's teeth in. He's like, yes.
Which was like perfect for like what I needed in the beginning, because I needed to look like a chef. And I
Yeah.
definitely, like those shots, I definitely looked like a chef. And ever since, that shoot, I've caught him quite a few times actually, to get some shots, and I definitely put him out there as much because he's so much fun
Oh, yeah. Oh,
to
yeah.
shoot with.
Oh, yeah.
But he made me feel comfortable, and like the last place I ever wanted to be was like in the limelight in front of a camera, standing, changing clothes with my
Right.
shirt off, or
Right. Because as you explained to me prior to this, you looked a little bit more like me than you. We were both battling for the Big Ben moniker at
Yeah.
one point. No, you explained your weight loss, which congrats on that. I am trying very hard to do the same. I am trying.
try is enough.
Nah, yeah, I really am. Go to the gym like 5 days a week and all this stuff. I'm trying. It's just EMS is the exact thing that will work against you, because your circadian rhythm, your cortisol, it like literally is like the anti-weight loss
Yeah,
job.
it's stressful. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's it.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so yeah, taking your shirt off, I can imagine. I'm not the biggest fan of that myself. I have, as I've gotten older, like if we go on vacation somewhere, I'm like, I don't care about these people. But I wouldn't do it here on this show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it in the presence of really anybody who's gonna ever see me again. Probably, right?
Yeah, I know the feeling. I mean,
So explain to me. We talked about GigPro. What is GigPro? You went past it real fast.
so I mean, I'd been here in Charleston in the hospitality community for a lot of years at this point, and like when in 2008 was about the time that I'd gone from hourly guy to operations. I was getting into sous chef positions in the hiring pool. Like 2008, we were, we had a steady funnel of paper resumes and applications, and we were like cherry picking the ones we wanted, and we're throwing the rest of them in the trash can. And then fast forward to 2018, like we're buying them,
Right.
so obviously like people are starting to thin out.
Yes. Yes.
And you could feel it 100% in the kitchens. I mean, you heard through everybody, it's getting hard to find people. And, the last chef job I had, I was at the Royal American. They had built a 300 square foot kitchen out the back. I came in to launch the new menu, and we're literally like, in the middle of a Friday night, and the dishwasher calls out for a shift. So in that situation, you look at everybody in the kitchen, we need to find somebody or we're going to get our butts kicked, and everybody whips out their phone looking for the guy that's already at work on a Friday night, or sure as hell ain't going to give it up if he's off.
Right.
And, I'm supplementing my income on Airbnb because I'm trying to rebuild my life. I'm like almost 2 years sober at this point, and I get this push notification, hey, somebody's booked your room for the night. And I was like, I wish you had booked to wash these dishes. And then I was like,
That's awesome.
oh my God, like this doesn't exist. There's got to be somebody out there that is off work that needs the money that would come in and bust these suds.
Got you. And this is, you said 18?
2018 was like the light bulb
Right. So
moment.
we started into the gig work kind of thing. So, man, it would have been really cool if it was like 2008 and you invented the whole entire premise. That'd be pretty awesome. But
Yeah, I'd be dead by now because I wouldn't have been sober.
yeah,
I would have made horrible mistakes.
but the gig thing. So much like, I mean, calling up an Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, and all that stuff. These people are making themselves available to give rides or do shopping or pick up food.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is with GigPro is if the person knows they have the weekend off and they're like, hey, man, if you need a prep guy, I'm available. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Or if you need a dishwasher, I'm available all weekend. And they just make themselves available. You call, they come.
Yeah, I mean,
because our kitchen's very good like that. They're very plug and play. Like,
I mean, at that
for the most part,
at that point in time, it was like, number one, we're running on skeleton crews. We don't have enough people. We're in this constant search. We're constantly running ads, you know, and then you have a call out. It's always going to happen.
right?
And then I've got this shortfall on my schedule, but I've still got to produce. And then that's the operator's problem. The other problem for the workforce is Charleston, South Carolina is an anomaly. Like the state average doesn't work here as far as pay, but we're getting paid the state average. So I got to work 2 to 3 jobs to make ends meet to live in Charleston, South Carolina, which is not sustainable at all.
That's right.
If there was something out there where I could keep one primary job and take these 2 days off and go out and get more money hourly because they need me now, then that's sustainable. I can apply and turn it on when I need the money, and I can rest when I need to rest. Because if people are leaving the industry because it's not sustainable anymore, then create sustainability
Right.
and they'll stay.
Right. You're creating
Or come back.
creating a way for them to do it on their terms. That's pretty cool, actually.
I mean, we had to, like, you know, we launched the app in November of 2019. So we're talking 5 months before
the
COVID.
pandemic, yeah.
You know, and then COVID hits, and I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, like the whole industry shut down. We lay off 4 million people. We've been understaffed for 10 years, and I guarantee you half of these people aren't going to come back.
That is exactly, I mean, okay.
And that's exactly what happened.
So, right. So in EMS, the same thing. If anybody had one foot out the door, when the pandemic hit, they were like, I'm not dying for this shit. Goodbye. The way I've explained it on the show, I'm sure once or probably 10 times, because I say a lot of the same stories. If you ever remember if you ever remember Forrest Gump's boat, you know?
Yeah.
Well, when him and Lieutenant Dan weathered that storm, the one where Lieutenant Dan was like, bring it on, God, it destroyed all the shrimp boats in the area except for his.
Mm-hmm.
So then the bounty was his. Where if I would have quit in 2019, I could make the same either running the drive-through or even just like third manager at a Chick-fil-A. Now, no, because they have thrown so much money at us because they're petrified to lose us. The field went dead. I was working. I mean, I never missed a day. I actually could still make overtime during the pandemic because of my line of work. But what I'm saying is, man, like, if you were in a kind of field like that, the money was yours. But in hospitality, in, you know, all that went down fast.
Yeah.
And then that's when DoorDash really became the big thing, you know. But did that help save you guys? Did that help having
We exploded.
the apps being able to pick up the food? You finally got a chance to get back to it?
When the world came back online, you know, we had a small original customer base that was using the product and posting jobs that kind of were still kind of posting during the pandemic just because you can't stop everything,
right,
or you go out of business. But once March of 2021 hit, the Southeast opened up and was like, we've worn the mask, we've done isolation, we're over it, like we're coming back outside. And that was just kind of us. I mean, you know, most of the nation wasn't doing that. They were, you know, but we were like, we're over it. So people have been pinned up in their houses for a year. Half the industry just left and didn't come back.
Correct.
When they come out of their caves, where are they going? They're going to slam into bars and restaurants.
They want entertainment. They want
community.
They want community, and they want to be catered to.
And so
the tip thing, everybody was complaining about that, but I thought that tips ideally kind of went a little higher because people were so appreciative to receive service from other human beings again.
Yeah.
But then that mandatory thing started pissing everybody off. I don't know if you worked for places that do that, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But the autograts, it's starting to really, or people asking for tips for things that aren't typically what you ask for tip for, like McDonald's. Like,
I mean,
add a tip. I'm like, McDonald's, what?
If people would lower the cost of goods and be more willing to pay a quality price for a quality product,
Right.
then we wouldn't have to autograt because the industry could afford to pay its people. But since everybody wants a fucking deal,
They want $100. They want $100 of service for a $15 plate.
I mean, you go to the grocery store, you buy eggs.
Yep. All of
Like,
it.
if you want somebody to cook you that egg sandwich with eggs that are from right around the corner out of a chicken's ass, that's literally not mass produced, that has flavor to it. The bun is made by an artisan from a bakery in town that's using a lot better fucking ingredients than your Wonder Bread.
Yep.
You pay for it because it's quality. And if you don't want that, then, there's plenty of commercial shit spots where you can get a deal. And I mean, Chick-fil-A.
Right.
People spend $20 fucking at Chick-fil-A and don't bat an eye.
Right. But they wouldn't dream.
But they walk into a restaurant where everything is made from scratch.
$20 for, yeah.
And we can't go over Chick-fil-A's pricing without people losing their minds.
Interesting. I like
100%.
Because, I mean, Chick-fil-A is definitely one of the more expensive. I've started noticing is one of the more expensive places, and that place is never short on people. That's craziness.
And so when that reverberates, who does it reverberate to? It reverberates to the guy that's making it.
Got you.
And it's not like, if the developers and the real estate people wouldn't just gouge a business, just suck the lifeblood out of it, and if insurance wasn't so difficult and expensive, and if cost of goods went down, and if the customer stopped whining about how much they have to pay, then this guy could make more money.
Yeah, and it's like we wonder because, I mean, rush hour starts at, noon around here. It's like, does anybody fucking work in this town? It is so weird. It's like, does anybody have a job here? I know that when the pandemic hit, people reevaluated their finances and found out that, like, hey, if wife stays home with the kids, we actually save money because one of us is working to pay for daycare, for the privilege to work to pay for daycare. You can eliminate that expense and actually either save money or, break even. So they started reevaluating their finances. But we did too, in the fact of we don't go out as much. But when we go out, we go to nice places. We treat ourselves very well. Like, I mean, we used to frequent Kickin' Chicken all the time. We don't go as much, but when we go, we're not afraid now to get the appetizer. We're not afraid now to stick around for dessert. We make it a thing, so the ticket price is higher. I tip accordingly, I tip very well to the thing. I appreciate good service. But I thought if everybody could have reevaluated it, I mean, then we have enough people in this town that if everybody's choosing their one day a week to go treat themselves, you guys would always be supported and patronized. But what are they doing? Like, where's everybody going? Like, does everybody work in, fucking Charlotte? Like, why are they not going to places? Because everything flips so much, man. I was telling you, brick and mortars, man, they just change. It's like, where's everybody going? Why do things shut down? Why do we have these constant turnabouts? I mean, for the fact that a place like Hominy Grill could go under, that's baffling to me. The place was like historic, even in a historic building or a historic row home, but it goes under. And it's like, what happened? I mean, so many places are going under. But I think it's what you said. Property values, landlords gouging, all that stuff. That's craziness to me. So when you created that gig thing, was it with a team? Was it with, how did you get that off the ground?
I spent a year by myself, not knowing like what to do, and had wound up, getting a dev shop, which is basically, contractor engineers that will build you your idea, building out, a small little website,
Right.
that could function on a phone. And that was proof of concept. And
Got you.
then we proved out the revenue model, and we proved out the concept enough right before COVID that my Nostradamus prediction, everybody's going to need this. We have to scale the software. By this time, I'd found a technical co-founder, and our mission while the world was asleep was to build out a mobile app. And then we fired the mobile app back on in Charleston in November of 2020, still COVID-y, but then March hit, and then Charlotte started to call, Nashville started to call, Austin, Texas,
So cool.
Savannah, and 3 of us at that time took it into 8 cities.
That's awesome. So
And then it erupted even more.
Did that wind up making it that you don't have to really chef much anymore?
Yeah, I don't have to chef much anymore.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up for me. I mean, it felt like I said kind of the same thing, but I appreciate you correcting me, as it were. No, but it's so good. So, but no, what I'm saying is, so was it, for me, I always say, if this took off, if this became something bigger, I still think I would hold on to my certs. I still think I would probably paramedic once a week, maybe a few times a month, something like that. Do you miss the chef side of things, or was it just like, like?
I mean, I've recovery puts you in a place where you have to do like a lot of self-examination and retrospect, which self-discovery leads you to like why you kind of put yourself in situations and did certain things and gravitated certain ways, and how much of that old life was actually you, or you kind of making bad decisions to put you in places that weren't aligned with who you are. And you get sober, you're not drunk anymore. One big question is, who am I? If I'm not a drunk, like, who am I? What turns me on? What turns me off? Most of a person's life, when they're going into late teens and early adulthood, they're finding themselves. I was running away from that as fast as possible. Every decision I made from probably the time I took my first drink at 16 until 38 revolved around, where's my next drink? So
Gotcha.
Of course I'm gonna become a punk rocker in my late teens. Of course I'm gonna wind up in the kitchens. Of course I'm going to have 2 different children with 2 different moms and still wind up alone, I mean,
right.
What I realized in 2 years of sobriety was that, I don't want this. Like,
Right.
I want to spend time with my kids. I don't want to work 60 hours to 80 hours a week when the rest of the world's off and I'm on. Like, it's very abnormal.
Yeah.
Like, I lived in Charleston for 22 years and would look at people like, what the fuck are you bitching about rush hour for? I never experienced it. I was always going in the in-between, and then getting out way later. Most people are already in bed, but, so much of my life, I mean, I definitely had these defining things, but, it's like, I spent most of my time, going to farms, learning how it was grown, getting the story from the farmer, bringing it back to the kitchen, taking care of this product, because I realized how much care he put into creating it and then getting a team of people passionate about this thing and why this tomato is so important, and then delivering that to the servers to get them to sell it of why it's so important, and then getting called out to a table and giving the spiel, and they could care less. They want a white jacket standing at their table so everybody can see. You know, I started seeing things that maybe I'd been jaded to before, but, you know, what I realized is that, man, I can be at home with my kids and teach them how to make gnocchi.
And express all of that, and
Yeah.
they soak it up like a sponge.
And they love it, you know,
Right,
like,
right.
so
So does
know,
it kind of fit like risk reward, except in the fact of you're risking your sobriety for very little reward? Like, it's like, you know how you risk reward, you always compare that.
I knew without a shadow of a doubt at 2 years sober that I would not stay sober in the hospitality industry.
Gotcha.
And that's different for a lot of people, but I knew it in my bones. And
So you were working on a way out.
I was working on what am I going to do? I got a high school diploma. I got 22 years in the kitchen. Like, what am I going to do? It's not a good place to be.
Create an amazing idea for an app. I mean, that's
and then,
incredible.
You know, I had an idea. So, like, you know, this mind I got, you know, that used to obsess and engage obsessively and compulse over drugs and alcohol, started to obsess and engage and still do the same function, but over things that were building me up instead of destroying me. And
Got you.
I think that's the flip of recovery, is to realize that, you know, this self-destructive trait that you used to have is also your greatest asset if it's used for the right
channeling
right way. But I don't know, man. So much of my stuff was, you know, I wanted the status of, you know, I think what most people want. I felt like a failure, you know, putting that coat on every day made me feel less of one. I think the only thing that kept me alive is that I actually cared about other people's experiences that were dining in the, you know, it was like the only act of service that I had in me. Right. Everything else was self-driven.
And also, you seem like you're educating your cook staff, you're educating your wait staff. You seem like you kind of personally took some ownership over, like, my crews, like, you took the management, you took the leadership as truly being a leader. Like, let me explain to you as a leader. When I went to this farm, when I went to this farmer's market, when I met this person, you seem like you please understand what it means to me and what it can mean to you, or even what it should mean to you. And then, like you say, for it to reach a brick wall and you're just like, well, you know, when's Guy Fieri showing up?
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, I was so, like, emotionally dead inside. Like, when you get to that place, like, you got to find a fire to light somewhere, you know, and food was my one outlet that I had in that opportunity. And, you know, but what I had wrong is that the only place that's going to happen is in, you know, a commercial kitchen or a production kitchen. Like,
right.
I'm probably more passionate about food now than I ever was then, because I'm on the other side of the kitchen now, you know. Right. But you know, there is. I remember when the first episode of The Bear came out.
Yes. I never really got into the series, but boy, I mean, I don't know a chef, a back of house staff who don't think that that's absolutely incredible series.
Well, I mean, number one, they nailed it more than any depiction of the industry or the life or, you know, lifestyle, whatever. They worked with great people and they absolutely nailed it. But by the third episode, I realized that I was, like, sitting up like this. I was sweating profusely.
Yeah.
And I was, like, in full blown anxiety mode.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize, like, dude, you've got PTSD
Mm-hmm.
from just the stress and the, you know, I mean, 22 years working anywhere between 60 to 100, I think like 108 hours was my longest week. And that was a badge of honor to like clock that, which is also kind of messed up.
Right? Hey, man, way to destroy yourself last week. I know, right?
But, you know, you work a couple of like average lifetimes in that amount of time. I mean, you really do. You put a huge toll on your body, a huge toll on your nervous system. And then I still get these moments where I miss it.
That's okay. So this is all full circle to what you were saying. We watched a movie called Code 3. I don't know if you've seen it. Rainn Wilson, Laurel Howery. Okay. And a lot of people liked it. They were like, wow. And they were like, how accurate is it? And I was like, it's pretty accurate, right? Well, we watched it and I was getting like, how is this entertaining? I'm kind of getting pissed off right now. And I'm keep going, and I'm explaining to her everything they're kind of about to say before they say it. So whoever wrote this definitely worked in EMS. They knew what the hell they were doing. But at the end, that was the thing. He couldn't wait to get out. He got out. He got a job in like IT or whatever, or like billing and accounting. And then what happened? He missed it. It's one of those things where it kind of gets in your blood, but almost like a comfort in the craziness. But also, isn't it a great distraction? Because when like everywhere you go, there you are. So you have to deal with yourself. But if you're over there running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you ain't even got to recognize yourself. You're just doing. I think it's the distraction more than anything. I think that's why
being in survival mode is great if you don't want to take a look at yourself and justify it.
Yeah.
I was at work, babe, all night. There's nothing to do when I get off. I got to take the edge off.
Honey, I can't
see you in 5 days.
I can't go to this family function. I have to work. You've had to work the 3 Thanksgivings in a row. It's just the way that it falls. Meanwhile, you picked up the shift.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, you know, my drinking would ramp up the second, like, Halloween hit. You know, because the holidays were so crazy, but like, you know, I probably could have gotten some Thanksgivings or Christmases off, but I was already making those phone calls. Hey, I got to work so much. I'm not going to be able to make it home. Like, so I'm like nixing myself out. And then, you know, on Christmas Day, what's the only thing that's open? A dingy dive bar, of course. There I am at the end of the bar.
You can just say, no, I'm just joking. I won't leave that in there. No, I'm not going to shit on them. I'm going to take that out.
But there I am at the end of the bar, you know, in self-pity because nobody wants me around. And, you know, I nixed myself out of it. I mean, that's where, you know, craving the chaos gets you in a lot of trouble. Yeah,
and it justifies your destructive behavior, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to do this because of this.
Yeah, I'm a workhorse, man.
Exactly. Right. I have to work 120 hours.
Yeah.
You know. Well, yeah. So, I had this train of thought when you blew past it. I was just like, okay. And I get to edit out like pauses like this. Because I'm in charge. It makes me sound like I'm going on top of shit. So then. Justifying the behaviors and getting out and nixing yourself out in the dive bars. Okay, so did you find, like, okay, I've always been curious about this. I got together with my wife. We started dating in 2002. We officially got together in 2003. Well, in coming down here for visits, because she moved up to Baltimore with me for about 5 years, and then we've been down here ever since. I feel like the mini bottle really was almost like prohibition. It just like took people out. So that as soon as we went to a free pour state, this place went alcoholic, and it has never bounced back in the other direction. I don't know why drinking is so popular in this place. It's probably the most alcoholic place I've ever visited, lived. I don't understand it. Like, it is. I went to Louisville. It was on Whiskey Row, and I think there were less drunk people in the streets than downtown Charleston on Saturday night. It's crazy. It's where they make whiskey.
Yeah.
And nope. It was just like, okay, everybody's walking around. How are you? How are you? Down here, working Medic 1 downtown, picking up people throwing up on each other. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, ew. They threw up on themselves. They're like, no, this was my girlfriend. You know, it's like, ew, I got to deal with somebody else's vomit on you, man. Come on. But yeah, it's a very, very, if you don't have, they had the tea plantation, the First Flush.
Mm-hmm.
The radio station that was putting it on, I knew the guys behind it. They were telling me how people were calling the radio station going, will there be alcohol there? And I'm like, it's about the tea. And they're like, well, is there going to be alcohol? Okay. And it's like, is there alcohol? And so basically, they're not going to show up for what is a theme for it's tea. It's a tea plantation. Come enjoy tea and a concert. It was an event. I had a book signing one time. Nobody showed. I was in Chicken Soup for the Soul. Had a book signing. Nobody showed. I was like, if I had a keg sitting next to me, I'd have sold out of all my books.
Yeah.
Why is this place so alcoholic, man?
I think it's I don't know. There's like a perfect storm. Like, number one, we got the ocean right there. It seems like the ocean just makes people drink. Maybe it's like it was always a bunch of fishermen, and that just kind of oozed everything out. Then we got the college. Then we got like the concentration of downtown. It's like, you know, but I don't know, man.
I mean, just being downtown, not even working in places. It's like, how did you navigate where like every place is serving alcohol? Every place.
I didn't.
Remember they had the growlers? They had taps in Sunoco.
I mean,
in a gas station.
I got sober in an apartment that was sandwiched between two bars that I could throw a rock at, and like local 616 was literally in my backyard, and it was so close I could hear like the laughter. I could hear the ice and the rocks glass, and right. I'm just in there peeling the paint off the walls because I can't sleep. It wasn't easy, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, which has probably benefited me because everything else looks like a fucking cakewalk. But you know, I think like with Charleston, I mean, the mountains are the same way. Find a college town up in the mountains. Everybody's barfing all over the street.
Asheville. We like Asheville, North Carolina, and that's a lot of bars and a lot of...
I remember Charleston Food and Wine used to be Charleston Food and Wine, and it was all about the food. And then the year that they switched it because of the trademark thing or whatever, they switched it to Charleston Wine and Food. And that was the year that like moonshine was like this hot thing. And all of the food stalls, you had this switch of like 70-30 food, you know, and it switched to 70-30 booze to food. And you would have Charleston's finest throwing up on the sidewalk of King Street at noon.
That's wild.
And why do people drink like that? I get it. You know, like, it's fun. It's fun to erase yourself.
Is it that there's not much else to really do? We don't have major league sports. We have like this big city dream, but this little tiny town. I mean, because technically it's a town.
Yeah.
I think technically Charleston itself on the peninsula is a town.
We're gobbling up but because they exist around us.
Right, but because they gathered up all the counties around it and made it the Charleston metropolitan area, that's how a census designation would call it a city. But I think in essence on the peninsula, it's really just a town. I mean, it's not very large at all.
No, it's not.
But they're like, man, this city of Charleston, I'm like, I I mean, I came from Baltimore. It ain't New York City, but it's a city.
Yeah.
And I just always thought that was a very weird identity crisis to this place down here. But yeah, I've always tried to understand it. I do love the people of Charleston. I do love my wife's family and the people I know here. I've always tried to understand why they drink so much, why they don't work, and how can you afford to not work? And like, it just baffles me. And you being somebody who was here 10 years before I was just like, help me understand a little bit.
It's always been a boozy town, man.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, probably if you're, you know, in an EMS, it's not the greatest.
Or
but,
if you're in recovery. I mean, if you're recovered.
Well, with recovery, it's like most towns that have great drinking have great recovery. So,
that's an interesting way. I didn't think about that.
So, but, you know, I don't know the stats on, like, you know, I think it's like 1 out of 8 will develop a problem if they touch it too much. And I mean, so most people just aren't alcoholics. Most people, you know, they consume too much. They go, oh man, I'm not doing that again, or I'm not getting behind the wheel of my car ever again. You know, I had 5 DUIs, and man, if I could have driven at the end, I would have gotten another one.
When I go to concerts or I go to events, we always leave about 2 hours early because I'm like, I'm not taking my family through a drunken gauntlet.
Yeah.
To get home. I always, like, we went Bare Naked Ladies over at Capital One when it was called Family Circle Cup. And I'm looking at it, and I mean, the first like 4 rows of the stadium are empty, but the beer gardens on the mezzanine are full.
Yeah.
It's like these people would give up front row seats to be near the drinks. And I'm like, whew. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, hey, honey, I mean, we're going to miss 1 week. We're going to miss the song 1 week. We're going to miss maybe like The Old Apartment. But we got to go.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be bad. I mean, just purely bad.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, that's not even EMS would have told me that. I just know better. You know, I'm not driving through a gauntlet of drunken idiots.
Don't drive on I-26 after 10 p.m.
Wow. Right.
It's so different. That's like the first happy hour push out.
That's right. That's right. I'll tell you, I did work at Club Light downtown on East Bay, which is above Brick. Yeah, that was good times. It burned down, but it wasn't me. It was Brick. Brick had like a sign, or I think it went off or something. A sign, neon sign exploded or something. I don't know.
They burned down a lot down there.
Well, I mean, they opened
might be those margins.
They opened it with the old regulations, you know, like. So, but yeah, that all the asbestos is officially just worn off, and we've all just breathed it in and took it with us. So there's nothing preventing fire anymore. Now, why we pushed this back a week? We were supposed to record last week. Do you want to talk about that aspect? Why you weren't able to make last week and we bumped it to this one because you were doing the trip there? I mean, if you don't want to get into that part.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I mean,
because I mean, is that what your primary focus is now that, you know, you got the app and you're not chefing as much as I think we both said?
I mean, a big part of, like, I don't know, getting sober, getting into recovery is, I don't know, getting out of your own way. And like when you kind of get to this point of self-discovery that you become what you feel is a whole person that's comfortable in their skin, you're kind of primed to go out and help other people. And for a person that spent most of his life like desperately wanting to connect with other people but not feeling like he would be good at it, or that he'd be accepted, or that what other people would think about him, you know, that kind of keeps you in this constant state of disconnection.
Gotcha.
Recovery solves a lot of that, you know.
Gotcha.
It tackles it. It gives you a sense of self-worth. And when I've never gone out and tried to help somebody without expecting, you know, a check or $1 or something in return, and felt bad about what I was doing or myself, or that alone in itself is kind of drug-like.
So that led to the escorting, not escorting. Let's
Woo!
yeah, led to the as it were the sober escort, or as it was the helping people get to.
Yeah, just a guy getting out of detox that needed somebody to keep an eye on him so he could get the help he needs somewhere else.
Now,
you
is
know?
that a part of a thing, or is this just helping people that you know by proxy, or is there like a service or a thing that will do that? I mean, like an angel network, as
Yeah,
it were,
I'm
or
sure
something?
they got services that do it, but like I don't know, when you're in recovery, you tell a lot of stories about where you're at and what's going on in your daily life, and so a lot of people in recovery know I got a lot of time on my hands,
And
but
they'll reach out to
a
you.
lot of people don't, and so hey, you got the means to hop on a plane. Could you get this guy where he needs to go? And he
That's
probably needs a conversation that everything's going to be okay when he gets there.
that's pretty noble, man. That's pretty awesome, actually. I mean,
You do things like that, and I don't know, it comes back around, you know?
absolutely. I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe every time you do it, another city gets on your app. You know, another city, joins the app. No, I just yeah, because my mom and my dad and my stepmom were in recovery, so I'm very adjacent to that. And hearing the stories of people, it's why I never went into anything hard drugs, because I just saw just how it destroyed people. I mean,
Yeah.
just guys like you, I'm 7 years old, and you're like covered in tattoos, and you kick everybody's ass in the room, and you're crying like a baby, and I'm never gonna see my kids again, and I miss that damn dog, and I'm like, holy shit, what's his problem? And then he says drugs, and I'm just like, man, them drugs seem like a bad idea.
Yeah.
And that was very impactful to me, and
Yeah.
I would have offered my kids that same experience if we were really close to it, but we don't really have. A lot of our friends either got clean or sadly died by
Yeah.
now, and so they never kind of grew up in that. I knew of it, they didn't. So we kind of we told them, and here's what I tell them: we'll listen to music, and he'll go, man, Michael Jackson, man, he's got great songs. I said, you know how he died? I said, drugs, drug addict. I said, now some would argue, propofol and blah, blah, blah. I said, but still, he was paying somebody to administer that. He was a drug addict. I mean,
Yeah.
plain as day. I said, but also Whitney Houston, drugs. I said, Prince seemed like he was from another freaking world, man. That man had talent.
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain, drugs. I said, it's
I
the
mean,
great
just like-
equalizer. If you want to die in the same way as some 50-year-old on the side of the road, so just because you have money and talent, it's the great equalizer. You will all die the same. You know? I mean, some afforded the higher stuff, some did the cheaper stuff, but still, you will die in the same fashion. And I tried to explain to him, it doesn't care how talented you are, it doesn't care how rich you are, it doesn't care how amazing you are, it doesn't care how many people adore you. It will kill you just the same, just as everybody else. And that's exactly how I explained to him drugs, and he seemed to get it, because I never hesitated to tell him, how they died, right? He's like, drugs. I'm like, you got it, because sadly it's the truth, Tommy Boy's really funny. You know how he died? Like drugs. It's crazy to think that we've lost so many people to it. And thankfully, you're still here. I got to meet you and got to hang out with you today.
And I've seen, I came into recovery with nothing. I was in the negative, and I had spent my entire life historically broke. I mean, me and my mom, I remember being in a 1-bedroom apartment where we moved upstairs to get away from the roaches, and we both slept on like an inflatable mattress. We didn't enter the cusp of lower middle class until I was probably 15 or 16. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, money was never there, it was never a thing, which, separated me, pushed me out on the fringe, had self-worth issues. So, of course, the mission is work hard, get money, retire, get some security or whatever. And that never happened. I just stayed broke, Add a horrible drug and alcohol problem on top of that. I went into the negative. So I came in like life was scorched earth. And then, everything changes. And, then I'm at January 1st of 2023. I separate from the company because I've been on the road for 2 years. It's starting to affect my recovery. I'm taking some chips off the table. The company it's so big at this point, it doesn't need a chef anymore. I'm going to leave it to the professionals to grow it and root from the sidelines for a big exit. And, so all of a sudden, with one transaction, my entire life changes.
Yep.
And so, now it's like you've worked your whole life and you don't have to work. And I hated it.
I got you.
Because my purpose was gone.
Right. Right.
And then you've spent all of your life in financial insecurity. You're more financially secure than you've ever been, and you're still scared, if not more so, because you have more to lose. And where do you go when you win the gold medal at the Olympics?
Right, exactly.
They took a survey, like most of them experienced 30 minutes of elation and then deep depression.
Yeah, right.
Because where do you go if the peak has been attained,
The thing you worked your whole childhood to young adult, everything you worked for to be in those games, and then you got it.
And the only thing that you can do in that moment is redefine everything.
Right.
So I took a 2-year sabbatical. I was like, I'm not going to go out there and buy myself a job, which is what I really wanted to do. And I'm going to travel, and I'm going to get in shape. I was on the road for 2 years, and it's not easy when you're living out of a hotel room. And I'm going to really work on some of these behavior. The work is going to be to improve myself mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm engaged. The work is being present for my wife, blending a family, which is the second hardest thing I've ever done. Work is, finding out who I am again.
Right.
Work is everything that you should be doing, but we rarely have time to do because we're at what we call work.
Yes. Yes. So you went to Ireland. You were telling me when we were trying to
talk about drinking.
right.
Yeah.
I sadly
made
sent
it
a
out
picture.
of Ireland without a beverage.
I had my first ever Guinness in Ireland in Kilrain, and I sent a picture to my friend who's also Irish, and he goes, "Why would you send that to a recovering alcoholic?" And I said, "I'm so sorry." He goes, "No, man, I get it." He's like, "I've not been, and if I ever went, that'd be a big temptation for me that you got to have an actual, Guinness Ireland, Guinness in Ireland."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah." So I can't imagine for you, Where
I
did you go to?
We flew into Dublin, got a rental car, and then kind of hit the West Coast. So,
Gotcha. You left out of Shannon?
No, we circled back to Dublin.
Got you. Okay.
But I don't. I'm at a point where I know I can't drink. I never drank for the taste anyway. I drank for the effect.
Right.
I did have a guy, say you should try the Guinness Zero.
Yeah, the 0.0.
I tried the Guinness Zero, and I was just like, what's the point?
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried it too, and I was just like, okay.
The only time I ever had a Guinness was if a server bought it for me and said, you got to try this. This is the best beer on the planet. And I would go, I'm sure if you keep buying these for me, at some point I'll agree with you. But it was too expensive. I was, if it was over $1 or $1.25, it was getting out of my price range.
Well, no, because you've been sober that whole time, I guess, because I was like, you're not responsible for the record PBRs out of recovery room.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're responsible for some of those years?
Oh, yeah. Recovery room, 616, Royal American, those were all my...
Gotcha.
I would start out, so I would always... I'd make a phone call home and I'd say, I think I'm going to walk home tonight. It's a lovely night, which meant I'm going to hit every bar on the way home. And it would start out, the first place I'd stop would be Hall's, because a guy that I worked with at Rue de Jean was behind the bar there. And, that was me going, I can schmooze with these upper statesmen. The bartender, my buddy, was giving me a free Admiral's pour of Bullet Rye. So that was my first, this is a cup of, of bourbon. Then I'd make it down to, I can't even remember what the name, but I would eventually end up at the place where I could drink the way I wanted to drink, and my mind the whole time this is happening, and it's completely intoxicated, is like, doing the math equation of how much money do you have in your pocket and how do you make it last to get the amount that you're going to need. And I mean, I tell people like how much I would drink, and they're like, oh my God, like.
So that was the reason why. I mean, you had people telling you had to stop. I mean, it started to affect your health, your body.
I mean, a great story is like, the owner of the Royal American, who I'm actually a business partner with now, where I had the
website idea.
Yeah, the light bulb moment for the company. He kicked me out of the Royal American and was like, you're bothering people, and frankly, I don't want you to watch you drink yourself to death. Like, when bartenders are telling you that, like, and still I'm in complete denial, like, what an asshole. Caring about me like that, restricting where I can go. But I was putting 16, 18 double vodka sodas on a bar tab.
That's
easy.
Wow, man.
And I'm just drinking like everybody else out here.
Right.
But then,
you're drinking like everybody else at once. not every individual.
That's not including like what I had at work and what I'm going to finish at home.
Right.
That's just my bar tab, I mean, like, but still, so I'm getting booted out by the bartender / owner, and then I get sober. I'm prepping, at Wild Olive. The same owner that, said you're banned for life because I don't want to watch you drink yourself to death, says, I hear through the grapevine that you're doing good, you're doing better. I want you to come in. I want you to give me this menu. Of course, I'm calling going, dude, this is my own old stomping ground. Like, I don't know if I can go back in there. And they're like, Ben, if you keep recovery first, you can do anything. So I go back, and if I hadn't have gone back, I probably wouldn't have had the idea that,
look at that.
So like, I don't know, man, there's things like that, kind of give you this, I don't know, cosmic reminder that things happen.
Is that the idea for the documentary? Is that the idea for your story?
The idea for the documentary is, there's obviously still a huge problem within the industry.
Right.
We threw money at it. People came back. We got a lot more health benefits, 401k, things that are completely normal in any other industry, but very abnormal in an industry that if anybody needs health insurance, it's these people,
Right.
But there's still this cultural thing going on, and there's still this margin thing going on. And, my thought was like, I lived on the peninsula in downtown Charleston for years, and every 5 years, 5 blocks back would get safer, and all the industry people would get pushed out another 5 blocks until the last street I lived on was San Susie, and that's the last street you got.
Yep.
So why is Charleston here? Why do people come to Charleston? They come for the hospitality. They come for the food.
Right.
Like nobody's coming to Charleston for the history and the beach anymore. They're just not. Yeah. They're coming here for the dining scene and the hospitality. And it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from people to make that happen. Yet here we are getting pushed out. And then you push everybody off the peninsula, and then all of a sudden what happens? You're waiting in line for your sandwich.
Correct.
Because I'm still making $15 an hour, but I can't drive downtown because I got to park my car, and that's an annual line item for money I ain't got. And the problem is that there's got to be a lot smarter people sitting in the mayor's office or something than me that should have seen this happening,
right?
Or predicted it, but they didn't.
Rough,
and
yeah.
So they let it happen, and the cost of living, the cost of rent, everything is just skyrocketing. And like, how do we make it more sustainable?
Right.
Hospitality, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shitty operators out there that take advantage of people, but there's a lot of great operators and businesses out there that are doing literally everything they can for their people. And it's still not enough to keep someone in the community, and so it's not an operator or a business problem. It's a real estate problem.
I see.
And until we fix that problem, this problem is never going to go away. And so the documentary was, going to be called "We Built This City."
Nice.
We're here, we gave it to you, and it's not just here, it's any other it's any other community with a large dining community and a high cost of living. It's everywhere that I took, this software solution, and it blew up. And people are traveling these days for food, for hospitality. Everything else is secondary, so we put all that work to build it up, and then we're pushed out. How do we make it more equitable?
So you're all right. So I hate to do this because we're coming up on the hour, but I could talk to you for the whole entire day. Your story's interesting. Do you write about this stuff in your Substack?
I write about everything in my Substack.
Okay. You want to promote your Substack? You want to give the address to that?
I think it's at Ben Ellsworth.
Okay. Yeah. At Ben Ellsworth Substack. Yeah. You don't have like a clever name. Some people use clever names.
No. It's just my name and whatever the hell they threw onto it. But
then your social media is what is that one?
Oh, Tumbling Dice.
Tumbling Dice.
Yeah.
Tumbling like Snackin and Yakkin. No G. Tumbling Dice.
It's a Rolling Stone song. Someone told me that that should be my name, or called me that for years, because you never knew what you were going to get.
I like that. Well, Ben, my friend.
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure meeting you. I ate 16 times the M&Ms you did. Only because I think you ate 3 and I ate about 40. My math's probably sucking there, but I don't know. 48? No, I don't know. But yeah, I really seriously enjoyed hanging with you. It was exactly what I thought it would be. Honestly, I was reading up on you and all that stuff, and I was like, man, this guy's got a lot of interesting things, like a man of many hats. But as you explained to me today, it all led into itself. It all was part of one big flowing story. It wasn't like, well, I do this and I do this on the side and I do this. You were like, no, I started here and here I am now. And that's pretty awesome. Pretty admirable. I like it.
Thanks.
And
man.
And don't let this be the end of this, man. If you got anything you want to talk about, you got anything you want to promote, you use my social media channels to do it, or use my website to do it. Or if you got something big going on, you want to come back here and sit in this chair and tell me all about it, you are welcome back anytime.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, next time I'll probably need to talk about my restaurant.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do that. Let's set a date for. Yeah. We'll get about 15, 20 episodes. To get the break, get other people a chance.
I'll let John Kinney come in here. He's great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a partner in this that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From Royal American.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So you have a restaurant going on. We'll just say if you saw the hat, cool. But yeah, definitely reach out to him and let him know to come sit with me. Tell him
I
it's
definitely will.
Tell him
He's
it's
a
an
great
okay
guy.
time. Say it's okay. You really have to kind of repeat his words back to him so that he gets it. That's one of my favorite parts of the episode.
John's a rock star, man. So he's got a band. He's into music.
All right.
Made bands famous. He's just covered in tattoos. He's the man.
Next time, celery and carrots, friend. And thank you, man, for hanging with us. See you next Monday. Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching another episode of Snackin Yakkin. If you haven't done so, like, subscribe, and follow. Also, hit up the social media. And don't forget about the Patreon, just $5 a month. And we'll see you back here next week to do some more snacking.